Okay, everyone, I've been a really bad YouTube person. I have not been videotaping intermediate steps on this at all. Okay? Last time you saw it, you saw Abe's epoxy scope drying over here. What I have done is these are pre-made drives, roadways and parking lot. I'll get the brand name. You can find them on Amazon.com. And again, there's a big mess in here because I'm working hard and fast instead of. This is the roadway. You got 1 meter of the road. This is what it looks like. The parking lot is the same material, just a different color, which is fine because it shouldn't be the same color. That stuff is really tricky to work with. It's kind of rubberish cork, and it will stretch on you and bend, so you have to be careful. I got a seam line right there, but the Guntank sits over the top of that. Piece of tape right there, because that's the sidewalk going between the parking lot and the building. You can see that line for the building there. Blast mark is too dark. I'm going to lighten that up in a minute with some dry brushing of some paint. That's real sand. There's some train ballast in places on here, like right there. And there's a little bit of it underneath there. Now, the roadway doesn't look very natural, so this is oil paint. And alcohol will distort the boundaries and age the boundaries on the roadway. So you can use alcohol really well on that. And I got to clean up my roadway right here. But that's kind of what I've done. Now let's talk about this flocking. What that is woodland scenic, blended turf, static grass flock, and coarse turf, this stuff. Okay? Put in a shaker bottle and shaked on. I have a mixture of half water, half Elmer's white glue here. PVA glue works. It doesn't have to be Elmer's. I'm using the white glue instead of the yellow wood glue because this cures yellow and will show if you miss a spot. This dries clear, so that's why I'm using this. I want the clear aspect of that in case for some reason the glue shows through. Okay? I take a brush, and here's the brush I've been using, one of those really, really old Testors paintbrush. This brush is probably 30 years old, maybe 40, which is kind of amazing, and I use them for this purpose because they are kind of bulletproof. I've got 4 of them remaining from my childhood. I brush the glue on, and I shake that on. We're on the cardboard, so I shake it off on the cardboard, and I put it back in that shaker bottle. And that's how I do that. I'm about to add some bushes and some other things to this because, well, it's getting very near done. Very near. So let me get going on the rest of this so I can get this building bolted down and the Guntank in place and start taking my photos because we're just about done with this thing. Got to drill some holes for some trees. And the trees don't need much of a hole, fortunately. And this is the sand I used. I just got it at my big box hobby shop. I have a couple of different colors of it. This is a heavier grade of the sand, but I didn't want that heavy of a sand for the crater right there. Okay? Alright, so I'll be back in a little while. Okay, having a plaster base makes this work pretty easy because you just drill a hole with your Tamiya handy drill if you have one. Put some glue on the trees and stick them in. It works really well. You could do it with wood too, but I like having a plaster base. Now I'm about done. I'm going to put in some photo etch fence. Then I attach that building and this is done. Okay, ooh, I see a bad spot. I got to fix the spot right there too. Alright, I'll be back in a little bit. Alright everyone, I got the base done, finally. I had some concepts in mind I was going to try, but it doesn't work. Some of them aren't working. First, I've got some rescue people here that are in N scale. They're properly sized for this. You can tell by looking at it that they would be properly sized, but it won't work. I'll show you why. Let me go get a couple of things. Okay, the car fits just fine. Everyone can see that. Sorry, I've got something in my hands. I'm trying to find a safe place to put it. Everyone can see the car fits just perfectly fine. One thing I did come across that upset me, because I made sure I ordered correctly. This roadway was HO scale. Everything else is N scale. I didn't check the package when I opened it, but I know I ordered an N scale road. So I had to cut it in half. Fortunately, you can get away with that. So I painted the stripe down the center and did the lane markings. And the lane markings aren't a little too thick, unfortunately, but they're not too bad. The ambulance does fit on there. The road does look right. That's the good thing. Now here's the bad thing. I get Mr. Guntank over here. I put him on his treads. There he is. He dominates this thing like he should. It's about him. Where do I put the ambulance? When I put him in place, I can put the ambulance up in there. But there's no way the ambulance would really be able to get in there with the Guntank sitting here. So that's a no-go. The other thing I haven't done yet, and this is the very last thing, I have some expended shells, and I'm thinking about putting them down here. But if I don't have the ambulance, I don't need those so much. So, yeah, the emergency crew just isn't going to work. The other one is the treads are very clean on Mr. Guntank, and he's making a muddy mess. If they have a cleaning technology, it's the future. Come on. Because no one really wants their tank treads out of whack. So I'm not going to be able to really use the ambulance or the peoples or the expended shells. Well, I could put the expended shells all over the roadway. I could put the ambulance coming in. Like that. I really could. And I might, because that really wouldn't hurt anything to have it coming in like that. I will think about it. But anyhow, I'm going to take this outside where I've got some really good lighting and get some good photos of it. So I'll be back in a little while.